To a developing story out of Hinton, Iowa, where parents of two wrestlers, they're suing the school's two wrestling coaches, the athletic director, and the superintendent for alleged abuse.
And we want to warn you tonight, some of the details do contain graphic content. KTIV's Larry Wentz shares the story.
The parents, who we've decided not to name to protect their children, have filed that lawsuit against former head coaches Casey Crawford and Bradley Scotus, athletic director Brian DeYoung, and Superintendent Ken Slater. The lawsuits were also filed against the Hinton Community Schools. The suits claim wrestling practices were a breeding ground for harassment and bullying against members of the junior varsity. It alleges the coaches encouraged students to play violent games against underclassmen, and they were even choked out and punched. And the coaches did nothing to stop the violence. The lawsuits also claim that on a trip to Nebraska, some students went to a mall where they purchased sex toys used on other students, and the assaults were photographed, videotaped, and disseminated. And the coaches did not inform parents of the assaults. The lawsuits also allege that on a trip to Coralville, Iowa this past February, one student brought along a taser that was used on some younger students, and that the coaches and athletic director consumed alcohol while on a school-sponsored trip. There are also allegations Coach Casey Crawford instructed the wrestlers to delete messages that would get him and those named in the lawsuit in trouble. The lawsuits say the two students suffered mental, physical, and emotional distress, and the district did nothing to stop the incidents, even though it was made aware of them. Larry Wentz, KTIV News 4.
We reached out to the Hinton Community Schools for comment and got a response from their lawyer saying in part, quote, while the district intends to zealously defend against the claims in these suits, it is district policy to not comment on pending litigation, especially when such litigation involves minor students of the district. Thus, we would simply remind your viewers that at this point, these are nothing but allegations being made in a lawsuit filed for monetary recovery. You can read the full response right now inside this story at KTIV.com.
Now, prior to this lawsuit, the Hinton Community School Board met in March to approve the resignations of two principals during a special board meeting. The first resignation the board approved was Mr. Phil Goostowers. He has served as the 7th through 12th grade principal in Hinton since 2020. In his resignation letter, Goostowers said, quote, I have spent many hours striving to perform and lead at my best, holding myself and others accountable with a high standard in mind. I did that with pride, purpose, and energy. However, as of late, I find myself questioning my purpose and my desire to be a principal at this time. Hence, I am officially resigning as the 7th through 12th principal at the end of the 2023-24 school year.
I'd like to express my gratitude to Mr. Goostowers for his exceptional leadership and guidance. His efforts to create a positive and inclusive learning environment have made a great impact in a short time for our school and community. Thank you, Mr. G.
Shortly after, the board also voted to approve the resignation of the 4th to 6th grade principal and athletic director, Brian DeYoung. DeYoung had served in Hinton since 2013. His resignation simply read, quote, consider this my letter of resignation from all administrative duties at Hinton Community School effective June 30th, 2024.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0. I'd like to thank Mr. DeYoung for his hard work and long service to the district.
As stated in the resignation letters, they go into effect at the end of the 2023-24 school year.
The Hinton Blackhawks have found the new leaders of its wrestling program following the resignation of former high school wrestling coach Casey Crawford. The district announced it hired former Bishop Heelan co-head coaches Jordan Langley and Matt Pugh. Previously, Coach Pugh coached at Bishop Heelan since 2015 and Coach Langley since 2017. In the announcement, Coach Langley said, quote, Coach Pugh and I are very excited for the opportunity to be a part of Hinton CSD. We look forward to providing a culture of excellence that will help grow all of our athletes into better people both on and off the mat, end quote.